Welcome back to Conversation with Joe. Today we're going down a rabbit hole that sounds exactly like science fiction, but it's actually about a guy who spent his entire life trying to make it our reality. We're talking about Jacque Fresco. If you don't know who that is, strap in. The guy lived to be 101 years old, and he basically looked at human civilization, laughed, and said, "Yeah, we're doing this completely wrong. Let's scrap the whole thing and start over." Now, when you first hear his ideas, you think he's absolutely insane. But then you listen to him for 20 minutes, and suddenly you're looking around your house, wondering why we still use money, why we still have politicians, and why our cities are built on grid systems where you spend half your life sitting in a metal box, staring at a red light. I was watching this documentary on him. He's this little old guy with a white beard, looking like a high-tech Santa Claus. And he's explaining how politicians are obsolete, and we should just let computers manage the Earth's resources. And part of me is like, whoa, Terminator. But another part of me is like, well, have you seen Congress lately? Maybe the Dell laptop can do a better job. To understand Fresco, you have to understand where he came from. He was born in 1916. He lived through the Great Depression. When he was 14, he left home and became one of those kids riding the rails, literally jumping onto freight trains and traveling across the country. A 14-year-old train hopper. That's wild. Today, if a 14-year-old loses the Wi-Fi password, it's a national emergency. This kid is riding in boxcars during the worst economic collapse in history. And what he saw on those trains changed his life. He saw factories sitting empty. He saw tractors rusting in fields. He saw people starving. And he realized something profound. The earth didn't suddenly lose its resources. The soil was still there. The factories were still there. The only thing that was missing was this imaginary concept we call money. That realization birthed his entire philosophy. He decided money is the root of all evil, not in a religious sense, but in an engineering sense. It's an inefficient way to distribute goods. So what does he do? He decides to redesign the world. Let's talk about these cities he designed, because they look like something out of Star Trek. We'll put some concept art up here so you can see what I'm talking about. He called his vision the Venus Project. And the most iconic part of it is the circular city. Fresco hated the grid system we use today. Think about New York or Chicago. It's a grid. To get from point A to point B, you have to go up 3 blocks, take a right, wait at a light, go down 2 blocks, wait at another light. It's terrible. Fresco's solution was the radial city, a massive, perfect circle. At the very center, you have the central dome. This is the brain of the city, housing the cybernetic systems, education centers, and healthcare. The next ring out is research and development. The next ring is residential. The next ring is agriculture. And the outermost ring is nature and recreation. It's like a giant Target. Or a pizza, but a highly efficient, sustainable pizza. Because it's a circle, everything is equidistant from the center. You don't need cars. You have high-speed transit spokes radiating outward. You can get anywhere in the city in minutes. And the buildings themselves were designed to be prefabricated, extruded from factories, and assembled by robotics. It looks beautiful. The renderings, everything is white, sleek, surrounded by greenery. It looks like Apple designed a civilization. And here's the crazy part. He actually built a miniature version of this in Florida. Florida man builds a utopia. On 21 acres in Venus, Florida, he and his partner Roxanne Meadows physically built these white domed structures. They look like igloos from the year 2300. And they survived multiple Florida hurricanes without a scratch because the aerodynamic dome shape just lets the wind roll right over them. Okay, the land cities are cool. But the thing that really blew my mind was when he started talking about the ocean. The man wanted to build cities on the water. My brain immediately goes to Waterworld, with Kevin Costner drinking his own recycled pee. But Fresco's vision was much more sophisticated. He recognized a basic geographical fact. The Earth is over 70% water. As the population grows, and as land becomes scarce or degraded, the ocean is the next logical frontier. He didn't just want to build boats, he wanted to build massive autonomous floating cities. Think of a floating platform the size of a small metropolis. These structures would be entirely self-sustaining. They wouldn't just float there, they would actively improve the ocean environment. The underwater portions of these cities were designed to act as artificial reefs. They would cultivate kelp farms and massive aquaculture operations. They wouldn't just be taking fish out of the ocean, they would be breeding them, farming them, and restoring depleted ecosystems. So it's a city that's also a giant fish farm. That's actually brilliant. But what about power? You're out in the middle of the Pacific. You can't exactly run an extension cord to California. They would harness the ocean itself. Fresco designed systems to utilize wave energy, tidal power, wind, and ocean thermal energy conversion. These cities would generate more power than they consumed. And what happens when a massive rogue wave comes along? Or a Category 5 hurricane? Does the whole city just capsize, and now everyone is living in an upside-down aquarium? He accounted for that. These cities wouldn't be rigid structures fighting against the waves. They would be modular and flexible. Some designs featured massive breakwaters to calm the surrounding sea, while others were designed to be semi-submersible. If a massive storm approached, the city could actually lower its profile in the water, allowing the worst of the storm to pass over it, much like a submarine. So you're sitting in your living room drinking coffee, and suddenly your window is underwater and a great white is staring at you because there's a hurricane upstairs. That's terrifying and awesome at the same time. But how do you get stuff? Like if I want to order a kettlebell on Amazon, how does it get to Ocean City 7? Well, in Fresco's vision, Amazon wouldn't exist because money wouldn't exist. This brings us to the resource-based economy. This is where people usually check out and call him a communist. But he wasn't a communist. He actually got kicked out of the Young Communist League when he was a kid for yelling, "Karl Marx was wrong." He hated communism as much as he hated capitalism. He thought both were outdated systems based on scarcity. A resource-based economy is fundamentally different. It's an economic system where all goods and services are available without the use of money, credits, barter, or any other system of debt or servitude. So, everything is free? I just walk into a distribution center and take a television? Yes, you would have access to whatever you need, but the key is technology. Fresco argued that if we stopped designing products to break, planned obsolescence, and if we automated the production of basic necessities, we could produce an abundance of goods. Right now, companies build a phone that is guaranteed to turn into a useless brick in 3 years, so you have to buy a new one. It's a massive waste of resources just to keep the money moving. Fresco wanted to declare all the Earth's resources as the common heritage of all the world's people. And to manage this, he wanted to use cybernetics, artificial intelligence. It sounds scary, but think about it. Right now, politicians make decisions based on lobbying, personal gain, and re-election campaigns. They aren't scientists. They don't know the carrying capacity of the Earth. Fresco wanted a global network of sensors monitoring the environment, resource extraction, and human needs. So instead of a guy in a suit arguing on television, it's a giant supercomputer looking at a spreadsheet of the Earth and saying, okay, we have exactly this much lithium, we need this many batteries, allocate resources accordingly. It's an engineering approach to social management. The computer doesn't have an ego. It doesn't take bribes. It just balances the equation of what humans need, versus what the planet can sustainably provide. It makes total sense on paper, but humans are messy. We have egos. We want the shiny thing that our neighbor doesn't have. If everyone has access to everything, don't people just sit on the couch and eat donuts all day? That's the most common critique, but Fresco argued that human behavior is largely a product of the environment. In a scarcity-based system, we are conditioned to be greedy and competitive because we're afraid of not having enough. If you remove the threat of poverty and starvation, and you provide a high standard of living for everyone, the incentive for crime drops to almost zero. People would work because they want to, not because they have to pay rent. They'd become scientists, artists, explorers. It's a beautiful idea, but he lived to be 101, and he didn't get to see it happen. Did he die feeling like he failed? I don't think so. I think he knew he was planting seeds for a tree he would never sit under. He always said that his vision would probably only happen after a major global catastrophe, that the current system would have to collapse before people were willing to try something this radically different. That's the scary part. He might be right. We might have to hit rock bottom before we decide to let the computers build the circular cities. But you look at his life, a guy with no formal degrees, teaching himself structural engineering, architecture, sociology. He built that compound in Florida with his own hands. He was a force of nature. He proved that you don't need a PhD to think systematically about the future. You just need to be willing to question everything you've been told is normal. Question everything. I love it. If you want to learn more about Jacque Fresco, go check out the Venus Project online. Watch the documentaries. It will melt your brain in the best possible way. You are watching Conversation with Joe. Subscribe for more. Blessings.